Yes, I can.
Okay, so welcome all. This is our 43rd BC, and pretty busy this week because of two or three go lives during this week, as in post go live support during this week. But I did spend some time on seeing what's left in what's new in Business Central 2021 release wave one, so that we can start looking on other things once we complete this. So I'm going to talk about some things which are new or changed in this particular session. And we may not go deep into it because there is very limited data in the Cronus environment of Docker Cronus environment. But we'll see what those changes are. So let's go through the normals. Those who are here for the first time, they'll have to go here and register every week. If you want to be a default attendee and don't want to get into this pain of registering every week, then drop your name and email address in the chat and I'll make you default attendee, as most of us who are here right now. Okay, so let's talk about changes in this area called sales and relationship management, which is majorly around contacts. So they're very small, but sometimes I feel that we should know all these changes because as being nav or BC developers in past, we have this tendency of assuming that these features are not available, and we tend to customize these small things. So the first thing that Microsoft did add, which is a very simple thing as a developer if you think, is on the contact card, log entries fact box is added. So you don't have to click a button and then see the integration log entries for that particular contact. So that's just available on the contact card itself. The other important change that they have done here is they have added these 4 navigation button to navigate to the connected record, which can be a customer, a vendor, a bank account, and also an employee. This might have changed in Business Central 17 or so, but now these navigation buttons are available here. On top of it, what they have done is they have changed how the data gets updated when we try to update our contact. So let's see that, our customer. So if I go to my contacts, the first thing is this change that we are seeing on our screen. They are utilizing this card or the tall tile also for the what do we call that, Teams integration that's there. So they are adding good details into this section about where this is connected to, which, and let me switch companies and go back to the Cronus one. Where it is connected to, is it connected to a vendor or a bank account? So you don't have to go and change it. So I was testing something, but yeah. So you can just from here, you can see that it is connected to a vendor or it is connected to a customer and all. So that's just the first small change, and this will not this will majorly impact the interaction from the Teams app. And because this is a Docker environment, I can't just show you that, but I'll try to set up one environment with that. But now let's go to the customer card. And on a customer, let's say this tab of address and contact in the past version was most of the fields were getting updated, at least starting phone number to mobile phone number, email, and I guess homepage, as soon as we change the primary contact on our customer card. What they have changed in this release is they have changed that integration based on these two fields here, which is the contact code and contact name. Now, in this scenario, if I just remove this just to verify this process. And if I choose a contact of type person, which I cannot on this, so let me see. I might have changed this, so let me go to someone else. Okay, yeah. So let's say there's no email into this. So if I choose a contact who have an email, and even if that is type person, the contact detail, especially the email, specifically the email field and the phone number field, will not get copied to my customer card. So let's put a phone number here. At this point, if I select this customer, contact Helen Ray here, it should not bring, in this case, the phone number and the email address to my customer card. But this is only added for contact type person. If you link a customer to a contact type company, in that case, the phone number and email and other details that were being copied earlier will also get copied to your customer card. You see, these details are now populating, including the phone number, mobile number, and email number. But if your customer is only linked to a contact type person, then that will work as it is. It will not update these fields based on the contact card. Now there is a catch that I found out, and that might be a bug. I still have to check it on NAV versions. But for some reason, if I go and try to import a picture here on my customer card, which is here, and in this case, if I go and select a contact person, the code behind the scene is also trying to copy the image of my contact and put it into my customer card. That's a standard code, been there for I don't know how many years, but it was there in BC14. I did check that. But if I click OK, it remains as it is. It doesn't update that. Maybe that's the code. But if I choose the, let me add an image here also. Okay. And this time, let's say this one, the MVP logo into it. If I choose this one, and now it's saying override image. Yes, so if I do override image, it doesn't actually show me the preview of it. Even if I went out and come back again, it doesn't update that on my customer card. So for some reason, I guess that was a problem in the past, but I never noticed it because nobody reported it, more or less. But if I click on export, I can actually see that image, which is a correct image, which should have been came. So for some reason, this copy feature from the contact is not bringing the image correctly from the contact card and updating it into the customer card. Anybody else have tested this or found this as a bug? Okay. So this was all on the contact card or the customer relationship management that was changed. Another thing that I was able to find out what changed from the documents is Microsoft have added a small change on the sales pricing. But now this change only applies if you are using the new pricing module from the feature management. So if you are still using the old pricing module, then this change doesn't impact you more or less. But if you have on either on a sandbox or on a test environment, if you have enabled the feature for the new pricing experience, for me, it's enabled. And I guess we talked about it in past, how it works. As Microsoft will keep on changing these functionalities and making them more futurist, they will not enforce those changes into the product before a year. And that is defined at this column, which says automatically enable from. So when this time happens, which is when this release happens, then this will be the default pricing change for every customer on-prem or SaaS. But till then, Microsoft is giving that time to partners and customer to prepare a sandbox environment, test your customs that will get impacted because of these changes, and update your extensions and all before this date actually comes. So that means in Q4 of 2021, which means the next release that we'll have, these features will be automatically enabled, which is integration management that is related to the API ID in the tables, which is now replaced with the system ID. This one is related to the old SMTP and the new email module that we discussed, I guess, past week or so. Item references, longer item references, they have increased the field length of certain field. And then this is the last one, I guess, which is no, second last, check financial journal in background, which is an, how I should tell you this. Like when we code in VA code, it automatically tries to compile thing as we are writing it. In the same way, journals will be checked for issues as we are typing them or as we are building them. So that's a feature, but that's right now optional. But starting next release, that will become part of the base product and you can't turn it off. So in this, on the similar line, there is this feature called new sales pricing experience. If you are still using the old pricing, then it doesn't matter, as I said. But next year, same time, when 2022 release wave 1 releases, the sales pricing, old sales pricing will be removed from the databases. So if you are using the new sales pricing, which is this, then there are, it's kind of more or less every document that we have, a header and a line part. And then there are some fields in the header which are also part of your the line section. So let me go back and remove these, select more, and let me delete these lines. Okay. So once you have set up a new sales price list, you can suggest lines and you can choose what type of suggestions you want, item, discount group, resource, or resource group, and all these options. And what you want to be on minimum quantity and factors and all. So you can filter out things, even the items you can filter out. And then you can say, okay, and system will suggest you something. Now, once all these are here, you need to verify all these lines by using these actions. They're kind of now being verified. But before you do this, where you actually pick all these lines and define your sales pricing lines here, you can actually, and let's go back to header. Let me delete this. Okay. Delete lines. And I was saying that there are some field defined in the header, which is what it applies to all customer and all. That was part of the lines in the earlier sales pricing module. What bad business posting route, that applies to all the lines, and what you want to see in the line columns. And then there is new field. This new field is added, which is let users allow to update the default values in the line. So let's take the scenario where you want a sales pricing defined for a specific time for this month. So all sales pricing line that will be part of it will be for that particular period. And if you don't allow your users to change that, then all the lines in this particular sales price list will default it to whatever these values are on header, and no user will be able to go and change those details here. Now, in this case, if I turn it off or on, you will see that there are some columns which are being automatically set to visible false. So right now I can see where it is applies to. What is the currency code, starting ending dates, and these are the majority of the fields which are part of your sales price list header. If I don't allow users to update this, you will see that those options which are coming from the header, most of those options are kind of removed from the lines. So as an administrator, you can control it, like how you want the sales price to be used by the users. So in a situation where the whole sales price list that I'm building will run during this offer period, and I do a suggest line and do add these lines and them at this point, because allow updating default is available, I can actually say that, okay, for this item, I actually want to, extend or reduce the offer period. So instead of starting from 5/1 to 5/31, I might want this item to start from just for a week or 2 weeks. A user can only change these parameters which are coming from header if this field is allowed or enabled, which is allow updating default. So only on those scenarios, the fields which are coming from header can be changed if this Boolean is enabled. Otherwise, they'll not be able to even see those fields. So that was one small change on the sales pricing area, sales price list area in Business Central 18. Now the next one that I looked is based on an email that I received, which was automatic lot and serial number creation. And I spent very good amount of time on this before I actually read details about it. So what I thought, and let's go there first, is when I'm on my, close this, okay. When I'm on my item tracking codes, and I have enabled this. So yeah, let's walk you through all of those in once. So the one change that is on the lot side, and there are 2 or 3 changes on this tracking side, is one is automatic lot and serial number creation, and we'll see that what that means. That's a option available on the lot tracking card now at the lot level and also at the serial level. Then Microsoft have also added one more dimension into the item tracking. So now on top of serial and lot number, there is also something called as package tracking. So consider it like this, that see every product have a serial number, multiple products in one batch or one lot, multiple serial number will be part of a lot. And then if you are shipping that lot in a package or in a container somewhere, that's where the package tracking comes into picture. But okay, Sam, you have any question?
Well, yes, it's about the price list. Would the users be able to view the hidden fields if they get access to the customization? If they go through design, would they be able to view the hidden fields?
Okay, that's a good question, and that's what I didn't check, but let's do that.
Because I do understand they could definitely hide the ability to design. We've demonstrated that last discussion, I guess.
Right.
But I
So
said didn't disable it. They have access to design. Would they be able to add the fields?
okay, so let me do this first. Let me delete all these lines first. because I can't change it once my lines are defined. It fails. So, okay, select more. Let me do select all, and let me delete these lines. Okay. Then I disable this. Okay. No, I don't see those fields here. So let me click here and see where is that. Do I see a starting date? It's already placed because that's set to visible false on a condition, on a Boolean, right? So those fields, even if user have access, because they are controlled by the code behind the scene.
Or you can add them. You can see starting date is available.
On the lines, I'm saying, not on the header. So when you enable this, you'll see the starting ending date here because those are defaults from the header, right? And these dates and these other options will be default for all the lines. So when you disable this option, then those fields get removed, like starting date, ending date, or applies to type. And here you can see that it says it's already placed. So you can't just go ahead and drag this again because it's already placed.
Right, I guess it now. Okay, good.
Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, so let's go back here. So yeah, what I was saying. Yes, so the other thing that they added is package tracking. And I'll need some help while we'll be testing this because I spent some time. I was not actually able to utilize it in the same way as I would have done lot or serial number utilization. For the captions of these package on your item tracking item tracking pages, there is actually a package caption field on the inventory setup. So if you want to call them container in the system, you can just change that caption here, and that will apply anywhere that package field is there. So the caption of that field, like we control dimension caption, in the same way you can control the package caption on these item tracking fields. So let's see where that is. The first thing, again, this package tracking specification is also part of your feature management. If you are creating your sandbox environments using Docker, these features are not enabled by default. And this is the feature that I'm talking about. Use tracking by package number in reservation and tracking system. Okay, so coming back to the first thing, which was automatic creation, where I spent very good amount of time. Okay, item tracking codes. So if I see this lot all, and if I edit this, I thought that if I just enable this, create lot number, the new field, I thought it will automatically create my lot numbers. That was I was assuming while I was reading about this. I didn't actually read about it. This came on an email and I thought, okay, that's a cool thing to check what that is. So let's assign it to an item, and I might have already done that. Let me check. So on my item, if I see that my item tracking code is not all. Oh, yeah. So I have it on this item called 1925W. So I thought let's do an inbound into this using our new that receive thing that we saw last week. Inventory receipts. And it will create the lot numbers automatically. That's where I started from. Okay. I said, okay, here's my item number. That's my quantity. And let's post it. It said you need a lot number. Now, I still didn't believe that I read it wrong. So what I thought is maybe for the inbound transaction, I need to assign a lot number. So let's do that. And for the outbound, we'll see what happens then. I say, okay, do assignment of lot numbers. Okay. And then let's post it. So that got posted. I said, okay, let's do the shipments. Inventory shipments. Okay. And now I should not need to enter my lot number because that's what I read. I said, okay, let's post it. It still gave me an error. So then I went back to Microsoft documentation and started understanding what actually that feature is. So that is actually not automatically creating your lot or serial number. It is automatically creating your lot serial info cards. So when you use lot or serial number, there's an info card that's get created for each of your transaction. So only that part is automatically getting created, not your lot or serial number. So if anyone else was misreading it like me, think about it. It's not creating your lot or serial number on the fly. It's just here when you do an assignment, there is this lot number info card and serial number info card or package number info card now, which will get created automatically when you use the item or lot number in your transactions. So there is, and then now that this page was behind the scene in the past versions of nav or bc. I'm not sure about bc, but it was behind the scene in the nav releases. But now you can actually search for it here and see the information cards that are being created for my transactions, lot number information list. And these are just the information card which are getting created automatically based on the transactions that are. So is that feature clear? Because I spent very good amount of time into it, because I started from thinking that it will create the automatic lot or serial number for me, which was not the feature. The feature is just to create your info cards for your lot and serial numbers. Now, help me on this, because maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I was doing some test and I didn't find how should I utilize this package thing that's available. So to start for that, let's create a, let me see if my other environment is running or not. Let's see, AD in your sandbox. I might have some data created. It's giving me, 181. Oh, okay. This got, oh no.
Saurav, Balaji has a question.
Okay, hey Balaji.
Yeah, hi, Saurabh. So you said that that there's a new feature that creation of lot card it gets automatically created. I mean, in business in Navision, it also gets created when we post that lot or when we post a transaction, right? And what is the difference in Business Central and Nav?
It automatically gets created.
Lot information cards. So in Business Central, there is a new feature that creates a information card automatically. I think in Nav also same thing happens. If I'm not wrong, when the lot card gets created or the transaction is posted, then the lot information cards gets created in the background.
I am not sure. Anybody else can help on this? Otherwise, I might have to set up an environment of nav and check it, because I actually didn't went back to see what was possible, because I already spent good amount of time by reading it incorrectly. But
Hi, in standard NAV 2016, information card was not created automatically. You have to go and open that page and enter something.
Okay, so
Mhm.
that means on in transaction, like we were on the receipts right now for a while ago, you will have in the older version go into item tracking lines. And if I'm understanding it correctly, once you do your select, select lot number on this case.
And
Okay.
if you enable lot info must exist either in inbound or outbound, then it will check that whether you have created a lot information card or not. Else it will
And
not give any sort of error.
if that field is marked true, then it will give an error.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it is marked true, it will give you an error that you need to define the lot info card. If it is not enabled, then it doesn't matter whether you create or not create.
But again, the original question I believe was whether it is created automatically or not.
No,
So
no,
in
no.
it
It's
that,
was not getting.
not getting created automatically. You need to open and create it.
Yes.
Mhm.
okay. So you're
So that's
saying
the
that
only
this,
difference.
yeah, so this, if this is enabled in, without enabling this feature, if this is enabled, then you'll get a warning that you need to create the info card on your
Right.
inbound or outbound.
Not warning, error.
Error. Okay.
And also this particular field is create lot number info automatically and serial number info automatically is not available for package. So package, if you select it's compulsory, then you will go and have to go and create it. So that field is not there.
Yes, and I'll talk about it in a while because I did test something, but it was a little bit confusing, and I'm pretty sure you guys will be able to help my understanding on it. But yeah, Balaji, did that answer your question?
Yeah, yes. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. So my other environment was not working right now for some reason, but what I did actually is I created a alt tracking just to test this out. I said this will have alt tracking enabled. And then I went to the card and I said, I need the lot number tracking. I also need my serial number tracking. And I also need my package tracking. All the trackings are enabled. Now, the problem that I had is then I went to inventory setup, as I told you that in the inventory setup, there is a Boolean. Oh, sorry, there is a field where I can set up my caption for package. So let's say I call it as container, just to pick a name. Then I went to my item master, filter out an item, where my tracking code, item tracking code is still blank, or not blank, which is already using it so that I can change it. Okay, only one item. So let me remove this and see if there is any there. Okay, so this have no inventory, I guess. So this would be safe enough to change it. Yes. So on this particular item, and my item tracking, I'm saying this is all tracked. Then here I have an option to choose what serial number series I'll be using. Then I have an option to choose what lot number series I'll be using. But I didn't find any place. I even went into the design mode to see to define my package tracking number series. Now the problem that happens in this case, and maybe I'm missing something for sure, maybe. When I create an inbound document for this, let's say item journals, and I say this is my positive adjustment for the item number this, and the location is east, and let's say quantity is 5. When I go to my tracking lines, I can surely use my assign serial numbers, create new lot, so that will automatically add the lot. So now I have serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one for each item, and then this lot 12, which contains all these serial number. but my package number is empty. Now for a 5-line item, I can surely put C001. What if I'm inbounding a 1,000-line item? Then, because of not having a number series in the item card for this, how we gonna manage numbering of this particular new tracking?
Well, you
And
have to do it
maybe,
manually then.
sorry?
You have to do it manually, obviously.
Right, and I'm a little bit confused why that is. Even if it, let's assume that even if all what I'm bringing in is coming, or sorry, all I'm sending out is coming in one, going in one container.
Yeah.
Even then, I need that container name to come from a number series somewhere.
Saurabh, I think the caption has not been changed. It's still package number.
Yeah, that's odd, but let me just check that one. But yeah,
It's available on the items card, so you can't just initialize it with a specific, numbering.
right. So is that something that they are missing, or am I reading it wrong somewhere?
Well, you need to go to the items card, not here.
Yeah, no, I was just checking. Yeah, changing that caption. But yeah, I did went to the item card, and let's go there together. And let's try to open the advanced view. Oh, this is another problem, but 1918 W edit. Okay, and this is the item, I guess. This is my tracking. Okay, let's go into design mode, not even the personalized mode, directly to the design mode. Is there a number somewhere? Because that's what it should be. Serial and lot, which are already placed. Is there a package thing somewhere? Nothing.
I'll try with container.
Oh, okay. I don't think they'll use container, but yeah. Oh, sorry.
Nope, nothing.
Or maybe the inventory setup.
I did. Let's do the design stop, and it should not be on the inventory setup because it's per item, right? More or less. But let's go.
Fine. I haven't tried it on the inventory setup page. Here.
This is just a caption for the fields, and let's read it. It specifies the alternate caption of package tracking dimension
No,
that we
so
want to use for
go to
capture.
the design view here.
Sorry?
You need to go to the design view here, see if any
Okay.
field is.
I doubt, because that should be item wise. I also feel that way, like lot and serial are, right?
So what do you know? Package numbers like that.
Package number.
Oh man.
It's fine. It's free. You're welcome. That's fine.
Okay, that's a good thing, Balaji. Thanks for pointing that out. I actually didn't came here.
Maybe it is used across items. So just as a container or a bigger, I mean, as a more generic for where it contains lot of lots.
Yeah, and I can't cancel this. Why? That's bad. I should be able to cancel this. I don't want to save the design, but okay. If it is not happening, let's do a test.
But then again, it doesn't solve the problem. If you say on the inventory page, then basically it would apply to all items, no exception whatsoever.
Yes, then every
You would have to have this container package.
yeah, every time it'll get the new number, more or less. So let me refresh this and get stuck into this design mode. Okay. Yeah, while I was testing it, I actually didn't went to the inventory setup to check is there a field or not. But I guess this is the benefit of doing it together.
You should have asked us, all right? We're here for that.
I should have.
I do have a side question. Fine.
Sorry?
Yeah, I do have a side question.
Oh,
It's just about the version you're running on this container. It's 18.1. You did say that it would be delayed to the end of this month.
oh, that's on-prem. On SaaS, it's all already available. So I'm running a Docker container for Sandbox. So you can
So
set up a Docker container for SaaS, right?
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Or on-prem. It's up to you.
Okay.
So if you do SaaS, then it'll be 18.1. If you do on-prem right now, it's 18.0. Okay.
Okay.
So let's set this up for task. I just randomly picked one, and let's go back to the item journal. Okay. Let's go to lines and let's go item tracking lines and let's delete all this and see what happens now. Okay, select more and then delete this. And now let's assign the serial number, quantity 5, add a new lot. Okay. It didn't bring the package number still. What? There is something that is missing somewhere. At this point, I would have thought that it'll bring it. And I'm pretty sure I selected a number series and number series is still active. Yeah, it's still active. And it is set to default. So it should pick it. Now actually we'll have to look at from behind the scene in the code later. And maybe I'll come.
Say to manual, Saurav, can you just open this number in card because it's set to manual on the right?
Yeah, if you
Manual.
see, yeah. But if it is, it, you know.
I get it, but you never know. I'm trying to solve
Okay,
this actually.
let's test that. Okay. Okay, let's remove the manuals. And that should be it. Okay. Okay. Now let's come back and select more.
And the screen has frozen.
Oh, is it? Let me reshare it. And let me know when you can see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's try to assign it again. And if it doesn't work this time, I'll go back in behind the scene and understand what's happening. No, it didn't happen this time also. So there is still a cat somewhere, I guess, which is either work in progress and may have fixed on CU2, will get fixed on CU2. But I'll have to understand this one. Because at this point, I actually will have to go and set this up automatically. Oh, sorry, manually. And then I can post as usual, right? Okay. So that was on the automatic lot and serial number tracking things. But there's one more thing which I found out, which was, I don't know how many of us will be able to utilize it, but Microsoft have added an availability matrix by lot. So for all these years, there were other things based on which we can check the inventory of our item, availability of our item. But now in that, there is one more option that's get added. Let me open that. That is my Microsoft keep on moving these icons here and there.
Related and yeah.
Yeah. So now there is, and I don't notice when unit of measure was added, but now there is one more option to see the item availability by lot. So you can check lot wise which item has how much availability on which lot. Now, the documentation that I read around this is super interesting, that these fields about the gross requirement schedule receipt and planned order receipt will only, like, gross requirement will only consider item in consumed in that lot if on your sales order, let's say, you have assigned that lot in a particular line, and then the reservation has actually happened. So if you open this will tell you that it is assigned on this sales order. If you go to this sales order, this is actually released, so that that reservation happened. Until unless that process is committed, more or less, this the lot requirement will still show you 0, even on the matrix, because that's how they are able to count this out. Does that make sense? As in, based on the assignment on the documents, inbound and outbound documents, and then those numbers getting reserved for that particular document, then and only then the availability by lot will consider those lines into it.
Well, can you enable or disable, reservations?
On what? On lots?
Well, all items, no exception.
On items, yes, you can. Reservations.
Is it on the inventory page? Or receivables and...
Not on the inventory page. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, Sam. I might have to check that.
Right, that's fine.
Okay. What else changed? I might not have data around this, but Microsoft have added bin code, and I guess it was there on job planning line and job journal. The only change in these two areas is that in the previous versions of Business Central or Dynamics Nav, the bin that is automatically selected on these two areas was the default bin of that particular location that you have on the planning or the job journal line. But now, yes, it will set it to the default, but there is a way that you can change it. So there is now a lookup to change the bin if needed on the job journals and job planning lines. Let me see if I have some data so that we can see this or not. So let's go to the job journals. Oh, I have some data. Good. So like these locations for sure don't have any bins. Let me see on my other company. Okay, let's go to job journal. Okay, there are no lines, but let's see. Okay. Okay, if I have this of type item and this, let me choose a location that have bins. Anybody remember which location does green have bins? Oh. This one is okay. Let me remove some filters and see is there even a bin data or not. that is bin on location.
I guess white. Yes.
White. Okay. Let's
Maybe,
white.
maybe.
That's okay. We can purely check that. View bins. All right. So the default bin here is for, these are dedicated bins, but there is, okay, so white is the location. Let's choose white. So what happened now? Oh, there is a direct put away and pick. Okay, so yeah, in summary, as in I'll have to set that data up otherwise. But in summary, there was no lookup into the bin code in past, and it was automatically set to the default bin of that particular location. But now in these two areas, there's a lookup where the value will be set to default bin on that particular location. But now user will have a way to change that bin if they needed in that transaction. So on two areas, one is the job planning lines and one is the job journal. Last thing that I read about, or maybe I saw a video somewhere, is around what they change on the manufacturing. So what they have done is on the production BOM and routes are now available on the stock keeping unit. So earlier they were only available production BOM and the routing numbers on the item card, but now they are also available on the SKUs for the item. But when I started when I started reading about that feature, there was a star sign on the top of it which says it's not yet fully baked. So if you go into, is there should be a function somewhere to create SKU, and let me create SKUs. Okay. And okay, stock keeping units. So now on these stock keeping units, in the replenishment tab, we can also set and those the routing numbers and the BOM numbers for SKUs. And if they are left blank, then the routing numbers and production BOM numbers are kind of picked from the item for which this is SKU is defined. But the star sign that I was talking about is right now it says that not to be considered by planning engine. So even if you set that on your SKU, the routing and the production BOM number, that will not be considered by the planning engine. And I haven't used it, so I can't talk more about it, but anybody else have thoughts about it or gave it a try?
This stock keeping unit is just a location, the item which is having a different location. So what would be the reason why Microsoft has come up with like having a different production BOM and routing like for different stock keeping units? Because it is ultimately going to be the same item which is produced in different, say, warehouse locations or different manufacturing locations.
That's right. It's like when it comes to the logistics, but this time it's for manufacturing specifically. You've got like a couple of workshops, and each workshop produces the same item, but with a different routing number.
Okay.
Right. The other thing that the document talks about more is that the variant code is added into the production orders. So when you are on your sales order and you are dealing with the item with variants, and then from there, if you open your sales order planning feature, Then the variant gets transferred to your production BOM. And then if that variant is defined in an SKU, then all that will come into play, that for that particular variant, the routing and production BOM number in your production order will be picked from there. So just to give you an example, I might not have the data yet, but if I choose a variant for this item, let's say red, and then yes, okay. And then for this item, if I create a sales order, okay.
I think you should be creating a production order, Surav, not a sales order.
Let me, as in this is, let's see this, I guess. Okay, so if I do this, and this is how I guess they are talking about it at this point. So once you are on your sales order and you from here move to your planning, okay, and then from here if you create a production order, which is I have set for variant code red in my sales line, and let's do a released one. It'll create a production order. Let's go to the release production order. And pick one that we just chose. So on the top header, and this field might not be enabled by default or visible by default, but the variant code came from your sales line as it is. And if it is attached to an SKU, those routing numbers and all, if they were available in the SKU, will also be brought from there to here. So once the production order finishes, you will actually get the item inventory with the variant in it. So you can actually run the production orders based on variants if you need.
I do have a question, if you don't mind, because you say that you've got like more than one item in the production order. Which variant code is going to be picked?
That's a good question, because that's not in the lines.
I mean,
Yes.
there is more, because if you go to the production journal, go to, I think it's in under functions, then where you get to key in all the quantity. Is that a variant code for each component?
Yes, and this is what, this is bicycle, right? So there should be component into this. Let's see. Oh, so yeah, here are components and components. Design. Okay.
So default behavior, really.
Design every page.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is variant code that I can put here. Okay.
Say this is feasible because you could assign it to each line, which means to each item. Great. But if you go to the production order, it is set on the header, which means all lines within the production order would be concerned by the same variant code. This is a problem.
Yeah, and I might not have same variant code for multiple items.
Oh, can you see it on the lines?
Okay, again go to design mode. Let's go. Okay, click it here. Is there? Oh, there is a variant.
Yeah, it's right there. Okay.
So why they moved it into? Why they actually placed it into header? That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe for the case that it doesn't make any sense though. That's wrong.
Now, like this item don't have a variant. I can't just default it to red, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have kept it on the lines, right? Instead of putting it. Now, I'm not that went deep into production, but those who understand this, I guess once you get into your routing here, they've also added one more thing here, which is the lot size, right? Now, this is how much your machine or work center can produce, how many lots it can produce. And changes on this will impact your ending date. So let's say if I say that this machine center can actually output 10 lots, it should impact my ending time here based on the lot size for the machine or the work center that you are defining. So that's one more thing that they added in production around
Oh,
routing.
the variant code was just appalling because you were able to set the variant on the item's master, but you couldn't, just use that variant in a protection order. You had to go through an extension or a specific customization on the page with a code unit to look up the, the variants. With a developer, it's not available in standard. That was appalling. I'm glad they just added it here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that was more or less for today, but I'm happy to stay if there are any questions, or Sam, if you have discussed about that upgrade that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I see Jignesh, your hand raised. Hey, Jignesh. Jignesh, if you are speaking, you're mute.
Hello, Saurabh.
Yeah.
Uh, yes, for last week we upgrade. I have raised the ticket in the Microsoft, and they have given me the upgrade tag.
Right.
But after that, still having one issue
Okay.
related to active session table. That is, I have put that error into the chat.
Put it into chat. Let me see. Okay. System created at invalid column, system created by system modified by. And this is not, and this is happening at what stage?
BC14 to BC18 on premise, and it is a data upgrade error. I have checked. It is in BC14. These 4 fields are not available into
Right.
that active session table. In BC18, these 4 fields are newly added.
It's everywhere added, yeah.
Yeah. So
But
I
where
can.
it says that it is on the session table, because it says invalid column name, it doesn't say any table, right? The error that you
It is like when I'm starting the data upgrade, it is giving me and stop the data upgrade process.
Okay, but this
And
should not be.
I have checked and remove the data from the active session table through the SQL, and also delete that data into the session event.
No, so let's understand this. That data need to be deleted in BC14 before you convert it. That's a
Yes,
Microsoft step.
Yes, I have done that, but still I'm getting that error.
Okay. Because all these fields, and this is the BC17 system field that was added on all table, including the temporary tables and system tables, right? So these
Yes.
4 fields, and there is actually one more field, system ID.
System ID, yes.
Yeah, so these 5 fields were defaulted to every table, and this actually happens when you do a technical conversion of your database from BC14 to BC18 via running that invoke nav database conversion.
Yes, yes.
If they are not added into a table, then I don't know, man. I haven't seen it. Did you submit it the same thing on the same ticket with Microsoft?
No, but after I have generated a new ticket with this issue.
Okay. Yeah, because
Still,
these fields.
I'm
Sorry.
awaiting a response from Microsoft about this.
Can you, yeah, so in the meantime, can you just check on your SQL Server on these databases, on the database where the table, every table should contain this? And then identify this, the session table that you're saying, does it not have it?
No, this active session having this fields already. I have checked in SQL,
Okay.
and there is no any data available into the active session. During the upgrade and before upgrade, I have deleted all this data into the active session table.
Okay. Did you delete it before stopping the service or after stopping the service?
Before stopping the service.
No, you should do it after stopping the service, because let's understand this, what that table stores. That table stores the connection to the database. Okay. As soon
Okay.
as the service is created, the first thing that it does, it tries to connect to that database and adds an entry into that table.
Okay.
And a entry gets added for each user that gets in, or any debugger session that you start. So if you clear that table before stopping the service, till the point you stop the service, there might have a addition into that table.
Okay.
So even if you read Microsoft steps, the first step would be uninstall all extension and stop the nav service.
Okay.
And then would be clear the session instance and debugger event table from SQL.
Okay.
And then start the technical conversion. So give it a try as you're waiting for Microsoft.
Okay.
This can be a thing that may be causing a problem.
Okay. Let me check.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Okay. Sam, oh sorry, Tanya is there. Tanya, your hand is raised.
First, go on then.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Hi.
So actually, so I was very good with the upgrade thing. So I don't know how many of here is, I mean, many of us might be doing the LS Central as well over top of Business Central, right? So is
Okay.
there a possibility any which way? So we, let's suppose we have 30, 10 or 30, 20, any number of machines like for POS machines, and every time you do every time I'm upgrading my, sorry, I am publish deploying my extension, so I have to, is there not a centralized way to deploy extensions on all the machines, or any other way we can deploy it? Because every
So
time I have
yes,
to go on every machine, on POS machine, I have to upgrade my extension, and any small change I have to do, I have to publish them again. So I was like, anything to come up with centralized, as in.
and this is about the stores.
Yep.
Okay, now let's understand it. How, what are the 4 steps that you do when you are upgrading your extension, which is unpublishing the old version,
No, no.
publish.
I am no. The upgrade is good. The upgrade, I have done the upgradation. This is a topic related to extension deployment.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So
Okay.
if you're making a change, then
Yep.
you should actually upgrade your app, even if there is no upgrade code unit. And that is 5 steps, right?
Okay.
Unpublish the old app.
Right.
Sorry, uninstall the old app,
Right.
publish new app,
Yeah.
sync new app,
Yeah.
start nav data
Start.
upgrade,
Right.
and then unpublish the old app,
Yeah. Yeah. This is
right?
good. Yep.
5 things.
5
Now,
things.
in these 5 things, the only variable that you have is the service name.
Right.
Your app name will remain same in all the
Remain.
stores.
Yeah.
Your app version will remain same on all the stores,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
if you bundle this into one PowerShell script,
Okay.
now there are ways to remotely execute commands on server, and there would be some IT person who will be able to surely help you out with this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you can bundle all this command into one single PowerShell script, which is first is import module from your C program files, whatever your default path would be, right?
Right.
To run these commands, and then these 5 commands.
Right.
then you just have to deploy that on a server, and from where it gets automatically to all the stores. And let me give you an example where you would have seen this. There used to be a installer feature from Microsoft. I forgot that feature name
Okay.
in Dynamics Nav,
Mhm.
which used to auto deploy Nav Windows client on all the machines in your office.
All
Okay.
right. Right.
In that situation, what used to happen is if you have to upgrade to a higher CU, you just update it one place, and then automatically it's called Click One Installer. I remember now.
Click once installer.
That's a part of a nav thing. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
that's
that
part of
that
an app thing. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But on the similar lines, I have seen IT administrate, because I have been into companies or customers who have 300 users sitting in the same office, but if you have to apply a cumulative update on 300 users, that's
Mhm.
impossible. And
Exactly.
you are on the same scenario that you have to deploy an app on 30 different
Machines.
stores,
Yeah, POS machines.
right?
Mhm.
So talk to an IT guy from your company or from your customer company, and they'll have a way to run a script that you are providing them automatically on all the stores that they have.
Okay. And any which way does this can happen via Azure, as in Azure can provide us with any of these facilities for
In that case, it can, but
because
in
I have
that,
not read about it, not do I have the clue. I have come up with this query, so I was reading about it, so I didn't get much of the insights. But yeah, I don't know
there are,
about it. Azure would
even
help.
if it is in the Azure, and I'm pretty sure it will be in the Azure. Two things. In that situation, all your store machine should be connected to the same Azure environment or belong to the same domain on Azure, right?
Mhm.
And then there will be a price for it by doing it as your way,
Okay. Okay.
right? And anytime you update your app, which happens very frequently now with our customers, they need a change, you change the app.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometime you might have 5 versions of a app releasing to your customer,
Right.
right? So yeah, I'll surely go back and talk to IT person,
Yeah.
and
Even I
I'm
will
pretty sure they have a remote, and you just need to ask this word. Do you know something about remote deployment? And if
remote.
they say, yeah,
Okay.
and if they say yes,
Yes.
then tell them that I have this PowerShell script. Can you deploy this on execute it on all these remote server automatically?
Okay. So have you come recently come to this scenario lately? This type of scenario?
Not exactly, because I haven't worked on LS retail lately, but
Okay.
I have seen this kind of situation on nav installation, right?
Nah.
So I know about that.
Because every time so I have pos 10 POS machines, 20 POS machines. So so what upgradation helped us was we did one upgradation in one of the POS machines and we cloned them, right?
Right.
So that's what a feasible way. But install and then you and now you have to install, I have to deploy the extension. So I don't know, will they cloning would be better, or there is something centralized we can do. So or from Business Central or from LS Central, that we can deploy extension centralized, and all of the POS machines are getting those extensions. So these 5 steps you just told me, I have to come in closer to them, as in one script, right?
Just write them in one script, right? Your
Okay.
Navision or Business Central installation is at the same drive, so you can just pick the module. I'm hoping on every store the service is named same. Okay.
Do you think
And
LS Central would help in this?
no, because this is a Business Central thing,
Yeah,
right?
because this is a Business Central thing, deploying extensions.
Yes, it's not there, because LS Central will only help you with the data, because that's what they do with the data director, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
can't automatically deploy extensions on everywhere.
Because
But
they'll
I'm
do.
pretty sure if
Uh,
you if
in
you
in earlier versions in LS Retail, ins- uh, instead of data replication, we have another object replication as well. So that can work. In the main database, if you change any objects, then you can also use data replication for sending those objects to POS databases. But don't know about the LS Central one because I haven't worked on the LS Central. But yes, in the earlier versions of LS Retail, I have worked on it, so have a fair bit of idea about how the things works in that scenario.
Yeah, the only catch is that even if LS Central will be able to move the files from one machine to other, right?
Right.
These 5 script, even they will have to run.
Exactly.
Right? There's no automatic way of
No
installing an app other than running these 5 steps.
And would it be a great idea to open a ticket to Microsoft regarding this?
No.
No.
And let's understand it, because Microsoft model is SaaS first, which makes complete sense. And if every store and your HO is on SaaS, then you don't have to worry about it, because then still you have to no. Then you don't have to worry about it, because there are administration APIs which you can run from a remote machine and install your apps on your SaaS environments. So for SaaS, they're working pretty hard on it. I don't think that they'll come and reply to you on-prem. As in, you can try, but I doubt.
Okay. Yeah, you have any other document regarding this? I'll just read in blogs, or I'll read them.
I'll find it out. I'm pretty sure I'll have something.
That would be
Okay.
great help. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? And if not, then I'll let Sam talk about his upgrade, what he's trying to do.
Yeah, hi. So I was just wanted to ask, do we have any sessions planned in the future for this this IN localization calculation of tax using use case, which is quite new in Business Central, IN localization?
I would say no, because the last time when I worked with India localization was 6 years ago. Yeah. And I have not been introduced to this new GST model in any way. But yeah, if you know someone who's interested in doing it, I'll be more than happy to somebody else to present it. I can't, I'll not lie, but I don't. As in, I can surely host something, but I don't know anything about it right now.
Okay.
Let's see if I'll try some contacts that I have, and if somebody knows about it and is interested to present about it, I'll be happy to do that. That's what I go.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Okay, Sam, I guess now.
I think nobody's raising. Oh, Balaji is still raising his hand. No, that's fine.
No, my question was over. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So before we go any further, I just need to understand the end of support of Navision and BC versions. Which one is discontinued and which one is still supported?
Okay, so that's a good thing to talk about. If you haven't read about it, let me see. Modern life cycle. And if you haven't looked at it, that's a super cool. So Central 13 is already gone in 2020, and that means fixed life cycle. There are 2 life cycle policies. For NAV, it's fixed life cycle, and for BC, it's modern life cycle. Here's the modern life cycle. So what Microsoft says, starting Business Central 13, every version of Business Central will be supported for 18 months. Okay. So that means the first version of Business Central, fully fledged AL version, which is version 15, was released in October 2019, but it's out of main support now. In 2021 of April, you can't purchase or you can't use. You should not be using Business Central 15.
Okay.
And every 6 months there will be a release. That's very simple.
That's
Right?
for Business Central.
That's for Business Central. Starting Business Central 15.
Okay.
Okay. Now going back to our old life cycle, if I can find that. Okay, I might have written about it when I said NAV 2018. Which one? NAV 2016 is end of life. Okay, no. Okay. NAV 2016. Wow, it's not in order. Let me see the latest archive. This is April. Yeah, maybe in April. That went out of support. Yes, 2016. So what happened with NAV 20 Dynamics NAV is support date for NAV 2016. NAV 2016 product export, product search. Okay, products. Okay, so if I do NAV, okay, no. Let me do here Dynamics. Okay, and NAV. So when we come down here, what's happening here, you can see that NAV 2017 is still supported. Let me expand it. Is still supported till 2022. Okay.
Yeah, what's the extended end date?
So extended is that Microsoft will support you on issues on a chargeable basis, but there will be no cumulative updates after this date. So at this point, all the cumulative updates, localization, hotfixes, and everything ends on 2022, on November 2022. After that, if you are still using it and you have problems, Microsoft will support you on a chargeable basis. That I don't know the price band that's there, but there will be no support for any new feature that has been introduced in your localized area. So let's say if there is a new regulatory fix that is released, that doesn't apply into extended support.
So this is version 10.
This is now 2017 is version 10. Yes.
But the latest version of Dynamics is 2018.
11. Yes, that's true. So when we come to NAV 2018, which is this, okay, this one ends in 2023.
Okay.
Okay. Now there were two versions of Business Central, which I will call that they were NAV. Okay, which is 14 and 13. Business Central.
I mean, those do have both CAL and AL.
AL, yeah. Right. So this one is using the modern lifecycle policy. So this was the first version with the modern lifecycle policy called BC13. Okay.
But you can't just jump from, in my case, I want to upgrade from 2013 right into, Business Central. So I have to go through NAV 2018. Is this right?
So you're going from where? 2013, you said?
Yes, R2.
So
That's
you'll
right.
go from 2013 R2 to 2018.
Well, the idea is to go to Business Central, but I need to make a stop. I need to make a stop at threshold.
You don't have to make a stop. This is just a migration step.
I know, but I need to step it up. Okay.
So what you'll have to do is when you are upgrading, you'll have to do one more merge of tables only. And when I'm saying tables only, that means table fields only in 2018. Because you just need to have placeholder to hold your data, right? For your custom fields and for your customs that you have done. So in your 2018 cumulative update 2, you'll have to do a merge of table fields only, which will act as a placeholder to hold your data there. So when you migrate your data, you'll come to 2018 CU2 with these object set, and you'll be able to settle down there. Once that step is over, then you start your next step automatically from there to BC14 CAL. Okay, that means that you'll also have to do a table field merge here. Only table field. Then at this point, if you have customs, then you'll have to take one more step on BC14 to move it to BC14 AL.
Oh my God, this is going to take forever.
Don't worry, we do it as an Archpoint does it, right? So at this point, what you can do is, instead of here, what you can do is you can take your extension from your BC18 that you're building, only table and table extension that you have built there. Because again, you just need it as a placeholder there. Remember at this point, because at this point you are moving all your custom data into the extension, the extension ID should be same. What you are going to build on your target, because otherwise you will get into problem in Business Central 18 if the IDs are different. So the ID should be same, and let's say this is version 1.0, and then in your BC18.
What do you mean the ID should be the same?
So when you create your extension, right? And let me open my VS Code if I can. And let me see if this is not that. Okay. New window. Okay. So when you create your extension, and let's say this extension, okay. Anytime you create an extension, you get an ID based on your app.json.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Now, when you want to upgrade your app, or sorry, upgrade your nav or DC from version 1 to version 2, in your case, version 14 to version 18, the apps also get upgraded, but they only can move data between extension if the ID of the extension is same.
Okay.
Okay, so if you see from the Microsoft perspective, the base app ID of Microsoft is same from version 15 till 18. It doesn't change, because this is kind of the primary key of your extension. So you can't just go ahead and change it. So what I'm saying is, when you are building your BC18 extension, right, that kind of becomes version 2 here, because your version 1 will be this. And then when you run upgrade from BC14 to BC18, during that upgrade, you will use the same extension and this will be your higher version, so that your data is still intact and it doesn't get lost.
But it would still have the same ID, a different version still, but the same ID.
Yeah, so whatever you are building on BC18, you can just change the version of that app here to be 2. Okay, and then copy the same app and compile that against BC14 symbols, and on that keep the version 1.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, in the BC14, when you are trying to compile it, it might have issues in compilation, because there are features that you have written in BC18 which are not available in BC14. So in this scenario, you just have to take the table and table extensions that you have built.
Okay.
because they again acts as a placeholder of your data.
Okay, but I do have page extensions and
That can reside here on V2. You don't need it on BC14, because in BC14, like we are doing in all these previous merges, we just need placeholder for data.
so this is just a data migration, because obviously I will have to uninstall every customization. This is just a data upgrade.
Yes, these are the steps only for the data upgrade.
That's right. Okay.
Is that clear now?
Yeah, let's say yes, for the sake of simplicity. But just one thing, I do have that ability to convert a code unit into. But I think I would run into problems because it's not written correctly, if you will. It doesn't support and respect all the conventions of Microsoft. So I'm thinking about rewriting the whole, every code unit from scratch using AL. Because I'm quite certain I would have issues converting it automatically, you see.
And this is, you're talking about custom code units in 50,000 range?
Yeah, because they do have zillion of systems, use it for manufacturing, and they just extract entries from BC to that system, and vice versa. So, I need to rewrite them. I need to rewrite the code unit of Cal to AL.
Yeah, I don't know. As in, if you are planning to, what we say that, how should I say this? Yeah, if you are planning to rewrite them, as in refactor those code units, then that's
Yeah.
okay. That's up to you. But if, let's say, these are my code units, okay, what I'll do is I'll first convert them to AL as it is. It'll not be 100% correct, right? And the situation where it'll not be 100% correct are where it might be using an automation, or it might be using a file variable, or it might be referring to a procedure which no longer exists.
Yeah.
But my 80% of the work, which is updating this code to manually copying and pasting it to AL, will eventually be done, right? Like this is an example code unit, which I was doing something else, but that's something else. But if you think about it, this will get converted, but will fail because it's using a file data type.
Which is not right.
Yeah, which is not available, right? But at least this conversion will happen, and at that point I can decide, oh, I have to rewrite only these 5 instead of rewriting these 100.
Well, they don't have that much code units. They've got like 10 code units, I guess. It's not like zero of those, so it's definitely supposedly manageable.
Okay. Yeah, but think about it, as in, I think that when you do the conversion, and yeah, so as you are coming from 2013 R2, what I would suggest, and just for the new object, this is only for the new objects, that take an object only copy of that database, convert it to BC14 as it is. You don't have to compile anything, you don't have to do anything. Once you are on BC14, use a PowerShell script to export all your objects, new objects, in the new AL format, the new AL wizard. And once that export is done, then you can just run it through text to AL converter to automatically convert it. And then surely take some time to fix it, but don't spend all your energy into that manually doing all these objects.
Okay, how long do you think a data conversion would take? So 72 hours?
70, how much is the database?
It's something like 60 gigabytes.
That's it? Okay. 60 gigabytes data. Okay. So from your 2013 R2 to BC14,
Yeah.
if all said and done, and just I'm calculating the executing of the script you are saying, right?
Yeah.
Just execution of script till BC14 CAL, it'll hardly take 8 hours. Only 8 hours.
8 hours.
Yes. Now from there till BC18, there is this catch step, right? Which you'll have to figure out how you want to do it, which is moving from CAL to AL, because there is no support from Microsoft on this one. This is all yours. Oh, sorry.
Well,
And I should rephrase my word, that there is a way from Microsoft, but that is super complex. Okay, go ahead.
But you just said that I need to open, the BC14 Cal database right from BC14 AL.
No, when I said that.
A couple of minutes ago.
No, I was talking about the object merge that we were talking about. That just take an object only database and convert it to BC14 so that you can utilize the text to AL tool, because the text to AL tool doesn't work with objects from 2013 R2.
So
Right?
how do I convert the tables from Cal to AL?
So there are different ways of doing it.
The simplest way, really.
Okay, so the simplest way is, let me find a blog. I was reading about it. So the simplest way is this, that you identify the tables that you have customs. Okay.
I've got a zillion of those. I can't, I do have the, I can definitely, detect them. You can see it on the Boolean modified. You can see it's been modified. But there are just more than 50 modified tables, page as well, and reports. Now it's, complicated. So this is why I'm asking, because I've got like beyond 50 tables modified, a couple of newly created pages and modified pages, 17 newly created reports. See?
So Archer Point, and this is, I'm not bragging or trying to sell you, but Archer Point actually Archer Point actually have a proprietary tool which works on this logic. So the logic is that it builds some extension tables, kind of extension tables for you in CAL, and then the tool also writes an upgrade routine for you to transfer the data from your base table to those extension table. Okay.
So the table has been modified?
No, it checks it based on the field range of 50,000 to 99,000 in each table that you have. Okay. And then it also writes an upgrade routine to transfer the data from CAL environment to AL extension. But that's a proprietary tool. I cannot talk more about it in person.
I need to, problems, travel.
But there are ways where you can transfer your data from your customized CAL environment to an AL extension model. And you need to think from the perspective of how the extension tables are built in SQL, which is the primary key of the main table and all the custom fields that you have, right? So can you actually simulate the similar table structure in CAL? And if you can, then you just have to move that data from that CAL table to AL table. And that's what that tool, which I was talking about, does it automatically.
Well, since I'm doing it manually, it would be tricky.
Yeah. But yeah, there is a blog post that I read about it, and I'll surely search for it and I'll send it to you.
Okay, well, I do appreciate it, Saurabh. It was definitely clear, informative as usual. I thank you for that.
No, not a problem. Okay then. Thanks, Balaji, Jignesh, Tanya. You guys are the last ones, I guess. Okay, thanks.
Sorry for holding you up. I'm just chatting with Saurabh here.
Not a problem. Anytime.
Right. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice
Enjoy
weekend.
your weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.